This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And it is a Tuesday afternoon, Wyoming Sports Talk Today, being brought to you by Taco John's of Cheyenne. And again, Tuesday, Taco Tuesday at all participating Taco John's. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service over on Highway 30, your exclusive home for Jayco RVs, fifth wheels, and travel trailers. 18s, yeah, there's still some 18s on the lot. 19s are on the lot. Great financing packages available and some great deals, especially on those 18s available today at Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range, directly across Menards. 2 convenient drive-thrus, serving up 3 squares, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And again, if you haven't been to Ray and Cindy's place, definitely want to go there. It is a treat when you eat at Chick-fil-A. Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. Again, the lot is filled with the 19th edition of the Kia family. And again, AJ and the crew invite you to come on by, take a test drive, sit down, and take home the Kia of your dreams tonight at Kia of Cheyenne on Nation Way. Platte Valley Bank ×2. Banking done the old-fashioned way where you and me can walk on in and the customer service routine is always alive and well. You can do it online. However you do the technical side, you can do it always with Platte Valley Bank and everything in between, located on Van High Avenue and, of course, at the corner of College and Pershing. Medicap Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical needs with your doctor's prescription. Let Gene and his staff fill those prescriptions, explain those medications to you. And again, remember, you can go to the convenient drive-thru. You can come on inside and take care of all of your duties there. Or, matter of fact, when you're inside, check out all of the other stuff that is available at Medicap Pharmacy on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body ×2 with the main auto and truck repair center over on Dunn Avenue where they have a plethora of bays. Remember, most insurance is welcomed at Lennox Auto Body. They also have the Auto Glass and Detail Center over on Pershing Boulevard. First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue, open Monday through Friday. And Tim invites you to come on by and talk with the great staff over there about their special CD rates right now on their 27-month CD. How about a 3.1 annual percentage yield right now on their CDs? Mondello's Pizzeria right across the street at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. Joe there 7 days a week along with his great staff, and they're flipping up the pies. They're also baking up the strombolis. They also have for you delicious calzones, their sandwiches on fresh baked bread, everything fresh and delicious, always Paisan cuisine #1 over at Mondello's Pizzeria in the Greenway Commons. And we also want to thank Mars Plumbing and Heating at 1515 Logan Avenue. You remember, they're on the job 24/7. So whatever happens, if it's a water heater breakdown, you got a problem with the heating or the cooling unit, always get a hold of Mars there 24/7. At 1515 Logan Avenue. And we get things underway. Their scoreboard is being brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. We go first to Nick and check out his scoreboard.
NHL action for tonight, 4 games on the slate as we continue on with the playoffs. Columbus Blue Jackets at home. They will host the Tampa Bay Lightning. You can see that game on CNBC. Columbus Blue Jackets looking for the sweep as they are up 3-0 over Tampa Bay. Pittsburgh Penguins at home at PPG Paints Arena. They will take on the New York Islanders. Islanders lead that series 3-0. You can see that game on NBC Sports Network. St. Louis Blues at home. They will take on the Winnipeg Jets. They lead that series 2-1 over Winnipeg. And last but not least, Vegas Golden Knights in the Fortress, or at least T-Mobile Arena. They're in Las Vegas, Nevada. They will host the San Jose Sharks. Vegas Golden Knights have a 2-1 series lead in that one, and you can see that game on NBC Sports Network. That's what's happening in NHL action for tonight.
Major League Baseball, it will be a renewal of an old-fashioned rivalry. The Bronx tonight, the Bo Sox and the Yankees before we get off the air about 4:35. Also in the 4 o'clock hour, it will be the Pirates taking on the Motor City Kitties of Detroit at Comerica. In the 5 o'clock hour, they will celebrate Jackie Robinson Day today since they both had the day off yesterday. The Giants and the Nats at Nationals Park in D.C. It will be the Mets and the Phils. They'll battle again at Citizens Bank Ballpark. Orioles and the Rays in the Trop. Also in the 5 o'clock hour, Cubs and the Marlins at Marlins Park, D-backs and the Bravos at SunTrust Park in Cumberland. It will be the Cardinals and the Brewers at Miller Park. Also in the 5 o'clock hour, Blue Jays at the Twins at Target Field. 6 o'clock hour has the Halos taking on the Rangers at Globe Life Park in Arlington. Royals and the White Sox in Chicago. 7 o'clock hour be the Rocks and the Padres. Yeah, they'll move it up an hour from last night, so it'll be 7:10. And they'll be at Petco. John Gray will toe the rubber for the Rockies as he will look for his first win of the season. In the 8 o'clock hour, the late games on the left coast, Astros and the Athletics. That will be, I do believe, on ESPN tonight from the Oco. It will be the Reds and the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. M's and the Indians again tonight from T-Mobile Park in Seattle. On to the NBA scoreboard, playoff action for tonight as we move on to Game 2s with the Raptors playing host to the Magic at the Scotiabank Arena. The Nuggets will try to keep up the winning attitude after the Avalanche last night. They'll be in the can at the Pepsi Center trying to draw even with the San Antonio Spurs in that series. And the Trailblazers holding on to a 1-0 lead in their best-of-7 with the OKC Thunder. They'll hook up again late night tonight in the Moda Center. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Hi, I'm Alex White, tea master at Pure Leaf. When I make tea, everything I know goes into it. You can't be impatient. When I craft Pure Leaf iced tea, I don't take shortcuts, because I want you to have the same amazing taste of iced tea that I do. So I start with fresh picked tea leaves. Then, after they're delicately dried, I blend and brew them at a lower temperature to draw out their unique aromas. And then I taste and fine-tune the blend for a delicious smooth iced tea. I'd love to have you take a sip right now, but that's one thing we can't do over the radio. But you can experience the same delicious taste of Pure Leaf iced tea anywhere you are. I'm Alex White, Pure Leaf Tea Master. Pure Leaf, our thing is tea.
Fat, lazy, and stupid is no way to conduct a sports talk radio show. We've thrown down the gauntlet, upped the stakes, and made it clear that when it comes to sports talk radio in Cheyenne, there's a new player in town. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Welcome to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. On tap for the program, we're going to talk to Joe Morgan, not the legendary baseball player Joe Morgan. Joe Morgan, he's with the L.A. Clippers. He's in for the Insider for the Sporting News, as he will chat with us in the 4 o'clock hour. Talk to him about, this current series, and I mean, what a shocker last night in the Oracle. We'll talk more about that.
It was historic of what happened. So again, talk about what happened last night, and
it gets more inside in Tinseltown as well too.
Well, and again, talk about the ramifications of what happened from last night, where this series goes from here. Again, at least breaking news, or at least something that has been passed along of recently. Again, thanks for the noises over there. But either way, though, for what has happened out of this series, we had one big injury from the Golden State Warriors. That would be DeMarcus Cousins, who did run into that injury early on in that contest. It has come out after the MRI that he will be out indefinitely, torn quad, so he will not return for these playoffs. He will be a big piece missing for the Golden State Warriors. But in my opinion, looking at this series, Golden State's dealt with something like this. They've dealt with blowouts before in a playoff game and come back and gotten victories. As a fan of this team, am I worried about it? Not really. For the Golden State Warriors, losing DeMarcus Cousins, is it something that now they're behind the 8 ball with the LA Clippers? Not at all. Again, that's
why they brought in Andrew Bogut.
That's why you have Bogut. That's why you have other big men. It's something where the Warriors are not worried. And what happened last night, it's a bugaboo. It's something, in my opinion, where for the Warriors, they just got a little too comfy. They got well ahead there in that midway through the third. Thought they were going to cruise on, and here comes they basically took the foot off the pedal, so to speak, in that game, at least to close it out, and basically said, hey, LA, here's a chance to come back, and they did.
Well, and here's my other concern, too. It's like KD better strap it up. It's like his head is not on in this series thus far, and he fouls out last night. Again, the fouls were just not smart fouls by Kevin Durant. So, but KD's going to have to kick it into another.
But we'll talk more about that series, and again, get the insight on Clippers, and then also too, he is an insider for Lakers as well, and we'll pick his brain on things like that. Also to talk about the Avs getting the victory at home last night against Calgary Flames. I do want to pass along as well too on the baseball, at least local side, something that received from at least manager Ty Lane for the Cheyenne Post Sixers for this weekend series opener. At least for Cheyenne Post 6 at home, they were supposed to have at least this Saturday, April 20th. Instead, it will be actually this Friday at 6 o'clock at Powers Field, as Cheyenne Post 6 will host Laramie over at Powers Field. That game was originally set for April 21st on Sunday at 3 o'clock. Instead, due to potential bad weather that day, they have decided to move that game to Friday at 6 over at Powers Field. So instead of April 20th, it'll be April 19th will be the home opener for Cheyenne Post 6 at Powers Field, again, as they'll take on Laramie coming up. So again, did want to pass that along, as well as Cheyenne Post 6, Cheyenne Mustangs in action this weekend here in town.
Also, too, speaking of which, we do want to mention the passing of Mark Robert, who, matter of fact, we were at the bash, the Post 6 bash, and Mark Robert lost his battle with cancer yesterday. And again, he is a Hall of Famer, just recently inducted. So again, our thoughts, our prayers to Mark's family and to the baseball family here in town that have been touched by Mark as both a player as well as a coach throughout his lifetime here in Cheyenne. So
it's something that has been passed along on social media, and you see players, whether it is from Post 6, former players, you even see some of the at least players or currently or former of the Cheyenne Mustangs. It doesn't matter what kind of side of baseball, whether it was Legion or Connie Mack, his presence in the baseball, at least kind of community here in the city of Cheyenne is certainly been felt one way or the other. So again, kind of both teams, or at least all baseball fans here in the city of Cheyenne, just kind of coming together in this moment of just what happened. At least the news, I do believe, was passed along late last night of at least what happened.
And the funeral arrangements have been already made. They'll have a viewing at Wiederspan Radomski Chapel of Chimes coming up on Monday from 3 until 6. The funeral services will be at Trinity Lutheran coming up on Tuesday, the 23rd at 4 p.m. And then they'll have a reception at the King of Glory Lutheran Church from 5 until 7 p.m. So just a couple of notes there to pass along your way from our friends with Post 6, and again, the sad note on Mark Robert. All right.
We can still stick on the baseball, at least talk a little bit more on the lighter side of things of what happened either on the pros, but something that I handed to you that you kind of picked and choose on things for whatever reason, but it was an interesting study.
I read the whole thing.
Well, it was an interesting study that Seton Hall, at least the university, passed along. It was a sports poll about baseball potential rules, something that we've discussed about.
Let's go through the whole thing.
But basically, they went out and polled people of their thoughts, kind of had a specific 676 adult Americans across the country. They polled, telephone, just kind of the average thing, kind of how they do political polls, but basically of the upcoming MLB rule changes, or at least potential rule changes. Some interesting things, for instance, moving the mound back were at least a topic.
We'll go right through the whole drill here.
Okay.
This was conducted, by the way, February 25th through the 27th. So before baseball even got through the spring training season. And again, this is what we used to call back in the day a Birch survey, where they would call on the phone and they would have X amount of questions for you, and then you would answer. I would say, and then I told you this, and this is all in reality, most of the respondents here are about my age group.
Yeah.
I would say 55 to 64. I think you would agree. Because we're the ones who will actually
this was something
questions.
created by Seton Hall University. It was not in sponsorship by Major League Baseball. Again, it was Seton Hall just understanding what the potential rules were, and again, just kind of getting the pulse of the nation, so to speak, of what do they think about what's going to happen, or at least potentially going to happen with Major League Baseball.
And this is interesting. Let's go right down the list here. We'll start off with question number 1. Do you think you would watch or follow more Major League Baseball? Question number 1. If the games move much faster. The respondents said 33% yes, 58% no, don't know, no opinion, 8%. So basically everybody's kind of happy with the way baseball is now.
Yeah, about, again, over 50% say no. So, again, on my opinion, I think baseball's fine where it's at least the time length. But also, too, as a fan, I understand of how long a Major League Baseball game is going to be. So, does it need to move faster? Probably not. MLB is trying to push that, though, for the younger audience. Trying to, again, where we talk about millennials and, the attention spans and blah, blah, blah. Hey, to get them intrigued and enthused. It's something that MLB is trying to move towards, but I don't think it's the right move.
So we're both in agreement that we would be no's.
All right.
All right. Again, do you think you would watch or follow more Major League Baseball if the games had more scoring? Yes, 28%. No, 64%. Don't know, 8%, or no opinion.
Do I need to see a 14-10 score, or at least where teams are putting up, 2 touchdowns worth of runs? Not really. I mean, does it? It makes it exciting when you're there. Yes, I get it. But also, too, hey, when you're flirting with a no-no or a potential perfect game, hey, that's exciting as well, too. So there's both ends of the spectrum there. But, again, is it something where I was seeing 11 to 20, or, again, where it gets astronomical on run scoring? Would it attract me more to watch more baseball? Not really.
Well, and again, like you said, a 14-10 game, that's going to go longer than a 1-0 game.
Yeah.
And I've seen both sides of the spectrum, and me, don't care. The answer to my question would be no.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm in that majority.
Anyways, moving on, though, again, there were a lot of questions on here, and again, we can go through all of them here as we got plenty of time, but do you think you would watch or follow more MLB if you were legally allowed to place bets on the games? 72% said no, and yeah, that's kind of my feeling of who cares.
Yeah.
Betting, hey, if you want to on any sport, I say have the freedom to do it. There shouldn't be any reason why all states or at least entities living in this country can't bet on some sport. But does it, again, would it influence me to watch more MLB or at least get me more invested? Not really. I could care less.
It says here, if home run numbers declined, would your interest in baseball increase, decrease, or remain the same? Increase 6%, remain the same 75%, and don't know 6%. Yeah, again, remain the same. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, hey, if we're seeing the home run records of,
but you also want to see a no-hitter too, don't you?
I get that, but again, hey, it was something special of what you saw with Sammy Sosa, what you saw with Mark McGwire and Barry Bonds. Those were kind of fun. You get it every once in a while. Again, recently of Giancarlo Stanton floating with a few things where, hey, it's fun to watch. I get it, but would it change anything about the game? Not really, or at least my opinion of it. No, again, I would agree with that 75% of yes, it would probably remain the same. The interesting thing as well, they polled about Pete Rose, obviously the big topic of MLB, something we've talked about a few times.
And may I add on this one? This is where I believe my generation was the bulk of the answers on this.
All right. Either way, though, Pete Rose has been prohibited from being elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame because he gambled on baseball games while an active player and manager. Do you think because sports betting has been legalized in some states, the prohibition on Rose getting into the Hall should be lifted? 52% agreed and said yes, it should be. And I've always been, yes, Pete Rose, along with those folks who have been dealt with the steroid era. Again, two different entities, but again, I think baseball needs to recognize Pete Rose, needs to recognize those steroid era players. They need to in the Hall of Fame. They absolutely have to.
All right. And again, 52% said yes, 30% said no, 18% offered no.
And I clumped it together as the next question. In regards to,
do you think the players who have been linked to performance-enhancing drugs should be allowed to be members of the Baseball Hall of Fame? 70% say no. 19% say yes. And
which is interesting because, again, voters are starting to get away from those numbers where more are lenient or at least trying to warm up to the fact of putting these players in the Hall of Fame. Again, in my opinion, I think, yes, Barry Bonds needs to be in the Hall of Fame. Question mark about Mark McGwire. Should he be considered? Possibly. Possibly with a Sammy Sosa of what they've done. But, again, obviously the big one would be Barry Bonds. Again, Roger Clemens as well, too. They need to, absolutely.
But
now, this is just interesting
that let me stop you on Mark McGwire. Mark McGwire is in the Hall for breaking Roger Maris's home run record. That's what he should be in the Hall for, but not be a Hall of Famer. He's not does not have Hall of Fame numbers.
Again, bad example. Again, we'll move on past that so you don't have an attitude about it. But,
I don't have an attitude.
I'm just saying regarding Barry Bonds, at least with Roger Clemens, there's two big names that have been close to getting into the Hall of Fame for what they've done as a career and that have the numbers to get into the Hall of Fame. It's surprising to see the Pulse of the Nation. Again, it's a small chunk. It wasn't a big chunk. It wasn't an ESPN poll that could reach to everyone. But what they at least solicited, 70%, it's very surprising to see that where you're seeing those writers warm up to it. The writers are starting to go against this grain and say, okay, maybe it's time to recognize this. Maybe it's time to figure this out or at least try to do something with these players.
Well, also, too, and throwing that out back, again, 20 years ago, before the steroid era was huge or newsworthy, entrance to the Hall was 500 career home runs, 3,000 career hits. So where you say Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, do you throw in a Rafael Palmeiro? He's part of the 3,000 hit club with Texas and Baltimore.
I would say, yeah. I think absolutely.
I think we should go back to those same standards that were, entrances to the Hall.
Well, if he's got the numbers, then yeah. I think even with being dealt with it and being kind of prime example number one, yeah, I think absolutely you would have to.
And unfortunately, an A-Rod would have to get in there too because
I think A-Rod has a good enough kind of relationship in the media or with these writers being a part of it now, being front and center with ESPN on those broadcasts. I think he's going to have enough kind of warm-up votes that is going to allow him to get in, even though he has admitted to it and done at least the PEDs. So he's on a different vein compared to a Barry Bonds that was hated by the media or the media didn't like him or he put off a bad vibe. I think A-Rod has that slight difference of where he was in the public eye. He was kind of a fan favorite to some extent. And again, the media did love covering him as well.
And back in the day, too, it used to be pitchers. If you won 300 games, automatic induction to the Hall. But obviously, the way pitching is today, as it's, you got starters, you got middle relievers, and you got closers now. For a starter to get in, I would venture to say, somebody like a Justin Verlander would get an entrance into the Hall, winning over 200-plus games now. And again, a Clayton Kershaw would probably get in there with that minuscule ERA. So some things have changed.
It's not minuscule after what he did at least yesterday. But either way, though, moving on to at least more questions. Next question that they asked was, would you say you watch or follow baseball a great deal, a good amount, or little, or not at all? Again, in that poll so far, a tie with 35% of the vote would be a little or not at all. That's
not good.
That's a little alarming. That's a little alarming, and something that MLB, I would hope, is taking a look at. I would assume that Seton Hall has passed along these numbers to the front office there, but that's scary. That's not good for baseball. Where, in my opinion, it feels like MLB is kind of in the right track to get a kind of invested following like NFL, like NBA. It feels it's on that path to get that kind of diehard fan base that is invested in 162 games or invested in their teams and knows everything about it. But again, 35%, a little or not at all. That's not good.
I won't speak for you, but I think you might agree with me. we kind of fall right in between number 1 and 2. We follow it a great deal and a good amount.
We're in that interesting spot where we have to cover it, and again,
but we have that love for baseball. We've always had that love for baseball.
But again, we're in that interesting spot where yes, we do have to cover it, and we are making sure about that. But yes, where you look at a great deal only got 11%, good amount only got 18%, but majority of these folks say a little or not at all. That's not good for at least Major League Baseball and what fans think of it overall. Moving on, at least now moving into basically increase of offense, shortening the length of games. It was Major League Baseball has proposed a series of rule changes. What they were asking, moving on to a question, it is proposed to move the pitcher's mound back from the traditional 60 feet 6 inches to 62 feet. 59% disapprove of that move.
I do too.
Why MLB is trying to do that, or I understand it, but why again, that slight change, does it really need to be done? No. I think it's a stupid rule.
I think what you're going to end up doing just by moving it 1.5 feet back, you're going to hurt more arms.
Yeah.
Again, the 60 feet 6 inches has been in play for eons. Why do you want to mess with it?
Well, because, again, you're looking to increase that offense and give that hitter more time, or at least, more reactionary time, slow down those pitches, at least, allow gravity to kind of put a little drag on it to not have those 102 velocities that you see with Aroldis Chapman or some of those fireballers that could be tossing out. So it's trying to, as these questions are alluding to, of increase offense. Is it necessary? No. I think 59% agree with that of saying disapprove of no, it shouldn't happen.
Now, this is what they call California rules. Another proposal is start extra innings by placing a runner on second base at the beginning of each extra frame. Approve 17%, disapprove 77%.
No.
And don't know, no opinion 6%. So everybody likes the extra baseball, free baseball. As you get, like I saw most of it on Friday night, 18 innings worth.
Yeah, why have a situation of, here's a potential, they didn't even earn it, just to make the quick, at least games go by faster. Again, baseball, you understand, hey, if it goes extra innings, it could go on for, a 10 inning, or we could see 22 innings. It's something that is just, it comes with the game. So why do that?
Oh, by the way, after the Giants game, they still did their fireworks at 1 o'clock in the morning. Ooh, did they tick off the downtown neighborhood by blowing up all those fireworks?
Who cares?
Good for them.
Another question, at least moving on, as there's about 3 more left here, but another one that they propose, another proposal mandating that relief pitchers must pitch at least to 3 batters, unless finishing an inning before being removed from the game. 53% approve this. In my opinion on this, I would be in the minority of this. I disapprove, where I like kind of coining the phrase, quotes, of the Bruce Bochy style of baseball, of that kind of mental chess match, so to speak, with the other manager, the other team.
You want lefty on lefty, righty on righty.
Where, again, you have that opportunity. You can play around with those moves, and you go with odds, you go with statistics, you go with he's going to be best. All right, you did what your job was. Now I'm going to go to this guy and move it on. Yes, it does slow down the game, but in my opinion, the freedom that managers have right now to do those pieces, where we do have those specialized pitchers now, to, again, middle relief, closers, setup pitchers, all that fun stuff. It's set up in baseball where, why can't you do that? Why do we need to have a rule where, okay, they have to be out there for 3 batters? I'm more of a fan of the Bruce Bochy style of, yes, let me do the lefty on lefty. You're in for a potential 1 out. Well, if you don't get that out, all right, we're moving to the next guy.
And I seen that a long time ago with Dick Williams when he was manager of the Swinging A's. Yeah, this is why they're paid to be the manager. This is why Bruce Bochy has 3 World Series rings. That's what he's paid to do, make the right calls at the right time. So, yeah, I disapprove of that as well.
Moving on to the next question. Do you think the designated hitter rule should be extended to the National League, eliminated from the American League, or should things be left as they are? This has been a big topic of controversy. Again, MLB has been looking to add designated hitter to the National League, but also they have flirted with just removing it altogether. You look at the polls, or at least the percentage, 61% say just leave it alone. I would agree. There's no need to change anything. No need to put a DH in the NL, especially where, hey, National League does have that slight advantage. It goes team by team where you look at, especially in the National League, where, you toss out a Madison Bumgarner. Hey, in that 9th spot, he's still a legitimate batter. He is kind of your DH out there for the San Francisco Giants when he's out there. Jeff Samardzija. There's plenty of other names, whether, you look at the Washington Nationals.
But also, too, it distinguishes the leagues. National League, pitchers hit. American League, got a designated hitter. Designated hitter rule's been in since 1973.
Again, it's part of the psychology. It's a part of the psychology. It's a part of the chess match. When those two leagues intertwine, especially in the World Series, it's all a part of, all right, what do I do? How do I adjust to this? It's part of the fun of the game. So, again, 61% say just leave it alone, and I would agree with that. Wrapping up with the final 2 questions here before we get to a break. When you watch a baseball game, do you watch on TV, online, or both TV and online? 79% say just TV. Understandable with that, especially as we're trying to get into the online. I'm more into the MLB.TV where I can stream, especially where, hey, I not a Rockies fan, so I'm going to watch my Giants online where I have that availability, at least when it's not blacked out. So, but again, if this poll is more tailored to the older folks, hey, like you could barely understand the Roku, so MLB.TV would probably not be the best for you.
I understand the Roku. I just have you set it for wrestling. That's all I do. Yeah, TV for me, and I'm on that first one.
And then the last question here. This one's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
this is kind of funny and comical. But how would you say you primarily follow baseball? By watching games, reading newspapers, listening to the radio, or through video highlights? 51% just say I just watch the games. 30% say I watch the video highlights. How about this? So, and not good for the local entities here in town. But
it's a slap in the face, really.
5% say, we check out the newspaper, and 7% say, we're not listening to the game on radio.
Now let's go to the newspaper. First and foremost, in our local paper, they don't get the West Coast scores because the newspaper usually is put to bed, let's say 10:30, 11 o'clock. So you still have West Coast games going on. They can't give you the scores.
And that's not even the big thing if I'm a subscriber. It's more of newspapers are, let's be honest, and again, it's something that the Tribune Eagle has to realize. It's something that is going across the nation, that papers are dying off. No one is, especially with the availability of social media with online, where, again, I can go to the ESPNs, I can pull up the ESPN app, I can go directly to the Giants and figure out, okay, there's a score, there's a highlights, there's a box score, I'm done.
But radio is disappointing, though, and it disappoints me because, again, being in this business for over 40 years now, I will listen to a game on the radio. Don't bother me. Whether, we're, on the left coast, we're driving somewhere. Matter of fact, even the other day, driving down to Denver, I was listening to the Rockies.
And these numbers, though, are something, it's not just for baseball. I would not doubt is also too reflective of other sports where it's something where, especially here at KRAE, of what I've done where, again, expanding out to, hey, we give you that radio option, but understand that folks would much rather watch it live or at least have some way to see it visually instead of audibly. Again, have that presentation. And it's something where that's, hey, again, I respect of what we do here on the radio side and, again, do at least promote it as much as we can. But, again, have to understand that times are changing. Times are definitely changing where, again, 5% say newspapers are not the way to go for at least following baseball at this point. And, again, I think that would tailor to other sports as well. It is the changing of the guard. It's times where we are here in the 21st century, 2019, that this is the consensus right now across the world.
And again, there's so many 24/7 services that are out there.
You got to compete.
Yeah. So and again, unfortunately, newspapers. I'm like I said, I'm more shocked about radio more than anything. A business that is true to my heart, and I just can't believe the respondents don't listen to it because again, a lot of the old timers, friends of mine, old timers, used to, listen to the games as they were going to bed at night, Matter of fact, you would remember the older gentleman that was a very good friend of mine that we worked together. He used to always go to bed and listen to KMOX out of St. Louis so he can hear his beloved Cardinals, every night. Jack Buck would be calling the games. But, I'm like I said, that one really kind of sent a little chill up my spine there because, again.
But it's something where you got to realize where times are changing. there are other ways to at least gather information, watch these games, listen to these games. For instance, again, on MLB.TV, you can watch it from wherever you're at. You can follow your teams. They even have that radio stream live there where you can, again, you don't have to sit up next to a radio. Instead, you can follow a graphic online and still listen to the game, but it's on your tablet, it's on your phone, it's on your smart TV, however you may introduce. So it is something where here in 2019, times are changing. We're moving into that all digital world.
It's more high tech each and every year. I
respect that. I'm all for that high tech.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. We're going to come back. We got more of Wyoming Sports Talk today. We're back after these words. Right now, it's time to head over to Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service for low prices on outstanding RVs in Wyoming. Your local, exclusive Jayco dealer wants you to check out their closeout deals, as well as their 2019 inventory of trailers, fifth wheels, and toy haulers. You can save up to 30% on select models with approved credit. You can find them at 6102 East Highway 30. Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service is a proud sponsor of LCCC men's and women's basketball, also our local high school teams too.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Join in for a festive evening of fun, food, and live auction in Cheyenne on Monday, May 6th at the historic Little Bear Inn, which is sponsoring the Love Never Forgets Gala to benefit the Wyoming chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. The event is being held to support the services provided on behalf of the nearly 30,000 Wyomingites affected by this relentless form of dementia. For more information, call the Alzheimer's chapter at 316-2892. That's 316-2892. Or visit First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue for your tickets. Remember, at First Tier Bank, you'll find the best rate on a 27-month CD with a 3.10% annual percentage yield. As Cheyenne's weather turns warmer, dust and pollen can become a problem for those with allergies, asthma, or respiratory issues. And the last thing you want in the summer heat is poor air quality in your home or office. So it's time to turn to Marv's Plumbing and Heating. That's right, Cheyenne's most trusted plumbing, sewer, and heating business also services air conditioning. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, can handle all your air conditioning needs. Give them a call, 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
Capital Lumber is number one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. And we're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is number one today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber's at your service all the way.
Capital Lumber Company, serving our area for over 53 years at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
At Medicap Pharmacy, we concentrate on nothing but your medications and your health. Each location is a locally owned full-service neighborhood pharmacy. We won't make you walk through aisles and aisles of stuff or wait in a long line. Instead, we'll always make time for you by listening, answering your questions, and explaining your prescriptions.
Medicap Pharmacy. We'll always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be mostly cloudy with highs around 61. If it's tonight, it'll be cloudy with a slight chance of thunderstorms with lows around 35. On Wednesday, it'll be mostly cloudy with highs around 51. And on Wednesday night, it'll be mostly cloudy once again with lows around 32.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing!
And it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
The Avalanche captain digs it free for Kerfoot. He finds McKinnon looking for his first period hat trick. He drops, and now stepping in and shooting. They score! In his National Hockey League debut, Calgary native Cale Makar scores his first NHL goal.
How about that last night as the Avalanche in the can took care of business And matter of fact, this one was over early as the Avs win 6-2. I know it's not changing your mind, anything, and I know you're not getting all excited over this.
I think for now, where Avalanche do have a 2-1 lead over the Calgary Flames, again, another game to be played there at the Pepsi Center. Again, you have loads of momentum. This team, as you kind of alluded to, and something that can't ignore is, yes, they've had all the momentum heading into the playoffs, and they continue on, where all you needed was to steal one up in Calgary. They've done that. You've won one so far here in the Pepsi Center with the potential to win two, even though I think Calgary, hey, it's a must-win coming up, and it's a team that is dealt with adversity throughout, or at least some adversity, not as much as other teams as they've kind of cruised throughout through the Western Conference, but Calgary, it's a team that's not going to roll over and die. That should come back and should put up a little bit more of a fight, but I give loads of respect to at least for the Avalanche, where Avs, I think right now, have a legitimate shot of getting past Calgary right now, where I didn't think it was going to be possible. But now I say, yeah, Calgary, you're in trouble right now.
I think the breakthrough game was that win over the weekend at Calgary. And I had this series going 6 games. And I do believe, and I think you're absolutely right, I think that was the breakthrough win last night in the can. I think they come back and win again. The next time they're on the ice in the can, they may go lose at Calgary. Then they're going to come back to the Pepsi Center and wrap this thing up and move on to the next round. Yeah, and that's where they'll end.
Yeah, and again, you look at what happened last night, 6-2 in favor of the Colorado Avalanche, where, again, they moved to 2-1 in this series. 2 goals scored by Nathan MacKinnon, your captain, where he had another phenomenal night. You did have at least 1 goal scored by your newly signed, at least collegiate player, Makar, where he comes in, where he led Massachusetts to at least the playoffs. He's been playing at least collegiate hockey, and to move from that level to the pros and just kind of get placed in there to play professional hockey, to play in a very heated series where it is, a big one for the Avalanche. They were certainly behind the Schneid going up against the Calgary Flames, but he came out there and was a big help to the Colorado Avalanche. We'll see if that kind of continues for the Avs. He was a certainly nice shot in the arm for Colorado, but right now, Calgary, they gotta be worried at this point.
Oh, absolutely.
Right now, 2 goals scored. Where you look at some of the scoring from them. Again, you look at Brody, who got for hitting the defenseman, who got a goal, and then also to Bennett. The one missing entity is Johnny Hockey, where he's been quiet in this playoff series, and it's something that we've seen years ago. It was something that I got to see with the Calgary Flames taking on the Anaheim Ducks, where he is trying to be the face of hockey. He was hyped up as being this revolutionary great player, at least potential great player. But in the playoffs, he kind of goes quiet. And that is something very alarming for Calgary and Flames fans right now, where you're relying on this guy who kind of carried you throughout the season, and he just goes away in the playoffs.
Well, think about Mike Smith in goal last night for the Flames. I mean, he was peppered all night long. He made 50 saves, and 6 of them snuck through.
Yeah, that's credit to the Avs of just getting on the offensive zone.
They were so aggressive last night.
And being, you compare that again, 50 saves for Mike Smith or for Grubauer, 27 shots is all he saw, or at least 27 saves. He allowed 2 goals to go in. That's a big discrepancy of just sitting where Calgary, especially that defense, had to sit back in their zone a lot of minutes, and that probably tired him out and tired out Mike Smith as well. We're allowing 6 goals. It's pretty ugly.
Well, the first period, he got peppered quite a bit. Now, let's go over to Dallas. Oh, by the way, Wednesday night will be the Avs and the Flames for Game 4.
Well, obviously, they got split time in the Pepsi can.
Now, the Predators and the Stars, and I respect a little more what you were talking about, the Dallas Stars. They were on Pekka Rinne last night.
Yeah.
And he turned back 40 shots. So the Predators, and they escaped. I'm going to use that word. They escaped with a 3-2 win over Dallas.
Yeah, Nashville.
They're going to get tired out like they did against the Avs last year.
Were they the better team? Yes, on paper with the 1 goal advantage and getting the win, but I still think Dallas is the best team in that series against Nashville. Being down 2-1, Dallas, like I said yesterday, I'm not worried about this team where that 2-1 deficit shouldn't really matter to Dallas. Dallas has a lot of talent, and this is something that they're going to come back. They're going to shake this off and go, okay, well, let's get it done here next time here at the American Airlines Center there in Dallas, Texas. Dallas Stars, they show a lot of fight. And, yes, they're going to wear out this Nashville Predators team. And Nashville, it'd be surprising if they get Game 4. If they win that game, then it's all said and done. But I would be highly surprised if they do. I would not doubt Nashville has got to be tired after picking up that close win.
Well, I think in the Toronto and Boston series,
that one's the ultimate coin flip. That's going to go to 7 games. It has to.
You think Boston bounces back? I mean, all the scoring was done in the second period last night.
Yeah.
So, if Boston grabs a win here, yeah, I agree with you. I think and I'm just
Boston and Toronto is the one series where either team could win. And I could care less because neither team is going to move on and represent in the Stanley Cup Final out of the Eastern Conference. But it's a good head-to-head where I think it should go to 7 games.
You know, again, I had Tampa moving on. So if Columbus happens to win, and matter of fact,
I think they will. I think they sweep. I think absolutely.
Barry Melrose has Columbus sweep in this thing, but Boston, Toronto, don't you think they're better than Columbus?
No, not right now. I think Columbus is a serious contender. I would absolutely put them up right now of competing with Washington. They did last year. We saw that in that first round. They kind of petered out at the end, and obviously for a wildcard team getting into that, it was trial and error, kind of the same with Colorado Avalanche. Gave a fight to Nashville, and now look at them now. Not as impressive of what Columbus is doing, where they're up 3-0 over Tampa Bay, but Columbus, they're up there where I give them a lot of respect, and they can hang with New York. They can absolutely hang with Washington, and they can absolutely hang with the winner of whether it's Boston or Toronto. They can absolutely.
We'll delve into those games here in a little bit. Carolina last night. You
got your one at home, and I think Washington goes, congrats.
Yeah, and the Caps, they were just flat all night.
Yeah.
I don't know what, I mean, it was almost like they had jet lag when they got on the ice. They just did not look they didn't look at the Stanley Cup champions.
It might be a situation where we talked earlier about the Golden State Warriors having a little too overconfident, maybe going on a cruise mode. Maybe it's the same with the Capitals, where talking about this series or that matchup yesterday, saying, hey, Capitals should just sweep this thing, take care of business. Carolina has no business playing. They kind of shut me up. They shut up those Washington Capitals. I think the Caps were a little too overconfident going into that game, going, we don't even have to try. Carolina hasn't put up a whole lot of effort, and we should just easily get Game 3 under our belt, even on the road. But all respect to the Hurricanes coming out strong in front of that faithful that have not seen playoffs in quite some time, getting the 5-0 victory. Carolina, congrats. You got your one, in my opinion. You got it at home. But I think that was a wake-up call for the Washington Capitals team, for a sleeping giant that goes, whoa, okay, we got to play here, and they're going to. I think they show up, and they don't allow what happened last night.
They can't skate through and just do this in their sleep. All right, so being realistic, tonight 2 series should end?
I think.
Do you think Pittsburgh gets one in?
No.
All right, so
I really don't think so. I think in the 2 Eastern Conference playoffs, where you look with Columbus, they should take care of business at home. Again, you're at home in that loud, faithful there at Columbus. Tampa Bay is not picking up a win. That should be a sweep in favor of Columbus. Pittsburgh has a shot, but I don't believe it. I think New York has proved enough, the Islanders, how good they are. Again, something where I put them as that sleeper team that's going to surprise a few folks. New York, even on the road, I think they take care of business. I think you'll see 2 sweeps.
We should see 2 sweeps then
Absolutely.
For tonight. Jets of the Blues, that's going to turn out to be a good series.
Could Winnipeg win that one?
It's
yes.
interesting. It's interesting that neither team has won on their home ice yet.
Yeah.
So that's why I think Winnipeg wins on again tonight. I think the series goes back to Winnipeg.
You have to go. You have to go with odds, where I think Winnipeg does take care of business in St. Louis. They certainly have the momentum on their side here. But it is that coin flip, same with Toronto, same with Boston, where either team could come out of this series. But, yeah, I'll go with Winnipeg to tie even up the series at 2-2. And then Vegas Golden Knights at home against San Jose Sharks.
I already know how you're going on this one.
Yeah, as I'm wearing the Vegas Golden Knights jersey here. Vegas, they should win. That crowd, that fan base pumps up that team, and it is tough to win there in T-Mobile Arena.
And I still have this thing at 7 games. I think the Sharks are this is going to be who's going to be able to steal one, and I think the Sharks are going to be able to steal back the loss that they had in San Jose. I think this one heads back to the Shark Tank.
I think it heads back 3-1, and I think that's a legitimate possibility.
We'll see.
Again, Vegas at the Fortress at T-Mobile Arena there in Las Vegas, it is so hard to win a game out there. That fan base is just as ravenous as everyone else. Even though they're in the desert, it's only the second year of the franchise. They're as loud as they can compete, and they're just as loud as any other fan base that is participating here in the playoffs. San Jose, it's going to take a lot if they want to get past Vegas and get the win here tonight on the road.
All right, we are going to take a quick timeout. We'll come back with some quick notes, and then in our 4 o'clock hour, we get a chance to talk to Joe Morgan. Again, Joe Morgan, not the Baseball Hall of Fame Joe Morgan. This is Joe Morgan, the L.A. Clippers insider for Sporting News. He'll be joining us here at 4:10. A couple of Sporting News notes when we come back after these words.
Are you tired of paying ATM fees? Hi, this is Rick Flood, president of Platte Valley Bank in Cheyenne. Use your Platte Valley Bank ATM or Visa debit card at any ATM anywhere. We won't charge you a fee on our end, and we'll reimburse any fee you incur at any other ATM. That's right, no ATM fees at Platte Valley Bank. How about that? Platte Valley Bank, 3310 North College Drive and 421 Band High Avenue, or pvbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You can count on Platte Valley Bank. Community banking for you. You love the Lennox difference, from collision repair to minor nicks and dents. Certified quality you can trust. Nobody cares about your car more than us. Lennox Auto Body, we do what we say. We fix it right and get you on your way. No shortcuts, no compromise. Lennox Auto Body. No shortcuts, no compromise.
Lennox Auto Body at 1020 Dunn Avenue and the Detail Center at 617 East Pershing Boulevard, Cheyenne.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast. Only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range.
1480 KRAE is your home for live play-by-play coverage of high school basketball and football. Hi, this is Nick Perotti inviting you to hear all the play-by-play calls of East, Central, and South football and basketball. You'll hear the conference action along with the postseason, and during the basketball season, 1480 KRAE features both boys and girls games. Catch all the exciting calls on AM 1480 KRAE, also streaming the games worldwide on the web at 1480KRAE.com.
AJ Miller here for Kia of Cheyenne. We're starting our 14th year and still strive to put you first by making it easy for you to own a new Kia. Right now, we can help get you into a 2019 Kia Sorento comparably equipped for less than Toyota Highlander, Jeep Grand Cherokee, or Ford Edge. The 2019 Kia Sorento comes standard with power heated exterior mirrors, rear camera display, remote keyless entry, and more. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123 or go to kiaofcheyenne.com. We'll make it easy.
Are back. They're back. They're back at Taco John's. Come get them by the sack. Because they won't last long. Hooray! Hooray! Crispy fish tacos, popcorn shrimp street tacos too. Hurry to Taco John's because they're back. It's true. Hooray! Hooray! For fish and shrimp. Hurry today. Hooray! For Taco John's, come eat them every day.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be mostly cloudy with highs around 61. And for tonight, it'll be cloudy with a slight chance of thunderstorms with lows around 35. On Wednesday, it'll be mostly cloudy with highs around 51. And on Wednesday night, it'll be mostly cloudy once again with lows around 32.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on this show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480 KRAE.
As we're back on Wyoming Sports Talk today, and I know you're going to have the who cares attitude about this, Nick, but, you know, and he's one of the good guys in the National Football League, and that's Russell Wilson. And yesterday I was talking about that they were going to try to get a deal done.
He's the most paid player now.
Highest paid player. Holy cow. 4-year deal. The Seahawks are going to keep him around until 2023. $140 million. That's $35 million a year.
Well, he is the franchise quarterback of Seattle, so it makes sense to lock him up. Where I don't blame of what's happening in Seattle on Russell Wilson, or at least put it on his shoulders. He's in that position up there in Seattle where he needs a whole lot of help around him, whether it's offensive line needs retooling. He's had a lot of players leave on that offense, whether it was running backs, wide receivers as well. It makes sense that Seattle locked him up because he is the face. He is beloved up there in Seattle. They can't disrespect what he's done. Again, bringing a Super Bowl championship to that franchise. It's something where good. You locked him down. You got his money.
And
you need to help him though.
He is a run first. Seattle's offense is run first, pass second. But with him back,
he's not aged up where it's questionable. But I think you need to at least take a look at where maybe keep him steady in the pocket, or at least.
But also too, he is a threat to run. So I mean, they do offer a 3 running back set
now.
But the thing is, though, I look at this contract, and again, it's not that he's getting paid $35 million. Yeah, it does come out, but it's $61 million in guaranteed money.
All right.
$15 million a year in guaranteed money that they're paying Russell. So, and again,
they certainly have made their money, whether
with the fan base that they got there, absolutely. So,
even though it's not packed as much as it was in the Century League field, they are certainly fickle out there where, hey, if the team's not doing well, they're not going to show up. So, but hey, Seahawks, yeah, you paid your man. It was a smart thing to do. You locked him up. You guaranteed. But for Seahawk fans and that fan base and just that franchise, you got to help him out now. You need to find those pieces if you want to compete with L.A. And I'll even toss out with San Francisco. Way too early polls have already shown, or at least predictions have, Seattle finishing below 500, with the Niners moving above them, especially where that team's going to be full healthy. You're going to be that dominant threat. And we saw what happened last year. So for Seattle, kudos, congrats. You pay him his money. I think he deserves it. I think absolutely. But you need some help from him. He needs it desperately.
And again, too, you look at the top quarterbacks in the National Football League, and this is what's kind of shocking because, the Bradys of the world, the Aaron Rodgers of the world, they're the high-dollar quarterbacks. But you got, Kirk Cousins, they're middle-of-the-road guys. Again, Garoppolo hasn't even played a full season yet.
No.
But, again, these guys are making big chunks of change.
And the 49ers just locked him down and gave him that money just almost in anticipation of saying, hey, we like your small sample size. We want you to commit here with the 49ers and not go anywhere else because it is a luxury to have here in the NFL where you need that franchise quarterback. Everyone realizes that. You need a Tom Brady. You need that big name. And those teams, those franchises are going, hey, Jimmy G, all right, we believe in you. We want you to be our face. We think you can be that winning franchise quarterback for us. Kirk Cousins for Minnesota.
But what I'm driving at, though, is Russell Wilson is a good quarterback. I wouldn't categorize
He's got
him.
a championship. I
understand it, but I wouldn't.
Is he the quote-unquote elite? I don't think so right now.
He's not a great quarterback.
Yeah, he does not blow me away. Is he Hall of Fame bound with his numbers? No.
But
no.
$35 million a year. Holy Toledo.
Well,
we're just throwing money.
That tells you, though, of just how desperate teams are for a quarterback, of saying, well, you got some talent or you've shown well, at least played well in the past. All right, let's lock you down so we're not losing you and don't have to run into, where other teams, especially to spotlight the Cleveland Browns of here's quarterback after quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. It's not working, not working, not working. We don't want to go through that. Okay, well, we know you can win. It's not Tom Brady level, but we know we can get something out of you.
Stability at the quarterback position, again, especially in Seattle, where he has been the starting quarterback for the last 6-7 years now. So again, the Seattle Seahawks making that commitment. Wilson's only 30 years old, so again, he's got a 4-year deal. Probably be a Seahawk the rest of his life. All right, we do need to check into the 4 o'clock hour. We got a special guest coming up here in a few minutes. We are back here on 1480 KRAE.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Welcome to hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and we can't do the program without saying thank you to some very special people, and that is Mars Plumbing and Heating at 1515 Logan Avenue, on the job 24/7. Remember, it breaks down, they're there to take care of you. Mars Plumbing and Heating on Logan Avenue. Mondello's Pizzeria at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. Again, everything fresh and delicious. And again, Joe Mondello's been out in this part of the world for a long, long time. You know the reputation of his eats. Always great Paisan cuisine at its best. Mondello's Pizzeria at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons, open 7 days a week. First Tier Bank directly across the street at 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Open Monday through Friday. And again, their CD rates right now on a 27-month CD. How about a 3.1 annual percentage yield from a First Tier Bank? Lennox Auto Body and the Auto Glass and Detail Center. First, that is located over on Pershing Boulevard. The Auto Body and Truck Repair Center can be found on Dunn Avenue. Founded by Dick Lennox, tradition carried on by his daughter Heather. 25 years, quarter century, they have been serving our needs here in the Cheyenne and Laramie County area. Medicap Pharmacy, for all your pharmaceutical needs. Remember, they're in the same location where they've always been, not going anywhere as well. That's Gene Barber and his great staff over on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Platte Valley Bank, 2 banking locations for you. Again, the high-tech banking way, the customer service way, everything in between, and they offer a plethora of goodies. You know, maybe an auto loan, a home loan, maybe you want to do a remodel loan. They got it for you over there at Platte Valley Bank. See them on Vandehigh, and again on the east side. You can check them out at the corner of College and Pershing. Kia of Cheyenne. Great-looking 2019 Kias on the lot right now, and again, they're moving. But again, they're always getting more in all the time. So check out what AJ has for you and the great staff. Take a test drive and take home the Kia of your dreams today at Kia of Cheyenne on Nation Way. Chick-fil-A, right here at the corner of Windmill and Delrange, directly across from Menard, serving up 3 squares. Again, their breakfast is absolutely excellent. Of course, you know, if you've done the old chicken waffle fries and milkshake, you know what I'm talking about. You can do that for lunch and dinner. Again, remember, they do cater outs. So we got graduations coming up here next month. Might want to think about Chick-fil-A. Go to CheyenneChicken.com and let Chick-fil-A come on by and cater your special event. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service over on Highway 30, your exclusive home for Jayco RV's fifth wheels and travel trailers. Today, it's Tuesday. That means it's Taco Tuesday at all participating Taco Johns. We'll get the program underway with our scoreboard, brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne with Nick.
NHL action for tonight. Columbus Blue Jackets at home. They will take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. You can see that game on CNBC. Columbus does have the 3-0 series lead in that one. Pittsburgh Penguins at home at the PPG Paints Arena. They will host the New York Islanders. Islanders lead that series 3-0. You can see that game on NBC Sports Network. St. Louis Blues at home. They will take on the Winnipeg Jets. St. Louis has a 2-1 series advantage in that contest. CNBC is where you can watch that contest. And the Vegas Golden Knights in T-Mobile Arena at the Fortress, Las Vegas, Nevada. They will host the San Jose Sharks. Vegas Golden Knights, they have the 2-1 series lead. That's what's happening in NHL action for tonight.
Major League Baseball getting underway here in about 30 minutes. Will be the Bo Sox and the Yankees from the Bronx. Oh, yes, a renewed old-fashioned rivalry. Also in the 4 o'clock hour will be the Pirates and the Tigers at Comerica. 5 o'clock hour, Giants and the Nationals at Nats Park. Well, they will all don number 42 as they'll celebrate Jackie Robinson Day today, since they both had the day off yesterday. Giants and the Nats coming up at 5 o'clock. It will be the Mets and the Phillies at Citizens Bank Ballpark in Philadelphia. Orioles and the Rays in the Trop. It will be the Cubs and the Marlins at Marlins Park. Diamondbacks and the Bravos at SunTrust Park in Cumberland, Georgia. Cardinals and the Brewers around 5:40 at Miller Park, 5:40 for the Blue Jays and the Twins at Target Field. In the 6 o'clock hour, Angels and the Rangers in Arlington. Royals at the White Sox at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago. 7 o'clock hour. They'll move it up an hour from last night. Rocks and the Padres at Petco, as it will be John Gray toting the rubber for the Rockies, looking for his first win. He's 0-3. 8 o'clock hour, we'll have the Astros and the Athletics. I do believe that's the ESPN game tonight from the Oco. It will be the Reds and the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium, and the Mariners at T-Mobile Park hosting the Cleveland Indians. NBA scoreboard on tap for this evening. These will be game 2s with the Raptors in the Scotiabank Arena hosting the Orlando Magic. Orlando leading that series 1-0. Nuggets trailing 1-0 as they will host the San Antonio Spurs, looking to draw even tonight in the can. And the Trailblazers holding home court thus far, 1-0 over the OKC Thunder. They will be in the Moda Center again tonight, hosting Oklahoma City. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Yo, this is your cup holder talking. You know me, the little round thing between your car seats. Now, listen, we need to talk. Now, I normally have a nice...
Provided on behalf of the nearly 30,000 Wyomingites affected by this relentless form of dementia. For more information, call the Alzheimer's chapter at 316-2892. That's 316-2892. Or visit First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue for your tickets. Remember, at First Tier Bank, you'll find the best rate on a 27-month CD with a 3.10% annual percentage yield.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be mostly cloudy with highs around 61. For tonight, it'll be cloudy with a slight chance of thunderstorms with lows around 35. On Wednesday, it'll be mostly cloudy with highs around 51. And on Wednesday night, it'll be mostly cloudy once again with lows around 32.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Larry Proetti, along with Sonny Boy Nick Proetti. And we bring on our special guest, Joe Morgan. LA Clippers insider for the Sporting News. And Joe, thanks so much for joining us today.
He's a happy camper as he's heading back down to
it makes the drive
SoCal.
a lot shorter to his place. But Joe, looking back on last night's game, and stop me if I'm wrong, but nobody really gave the Clippers a puncher's chance, especially in the Oracle. But one of the greatest comebacks ever in playoff history last night by the Clips.
The greatest. The 31 points was the largest comeback in the history of the NBA playoffs. Yeah, guys, it was, it's actually kind of funny. I don't even know where to start. It was pretty wild. Even at halftime, as Steph was going off in that first half, Oracle's rocking. Obviously, it's the last year there, so that place is just out of control at the moment. At halftime, I was talking to a couple guys about how we were all getting ready to write our articles for the second half because we didn't have to worry about it. We didn't really have to watch the game all that much. It was time to write, and then suddenly you look up at the end of the third, and it's 14. Suddenly down to 14. We've seen the Clippers do this before. All year long, they've been gritty. They've been resilient. They actually came back down from 28 in Boston in February to win. So it's something they've done before. But to do it against Golden State in the way that they did was really nothing short of shocking. So, and they were chipping away, and even with about 5 minutes to go, you didn't think they could complete it, and they found a way to. It was an epic evening. It was incredible. It says a lot about both teams. I do believe that.
But also, too, you look back on last night's win, and Lou Williams along with Harrell, if they don't go off like they did last night, the Clips, will end up lose that contest. But I'll tell you what, Lou Williams was just sensational last night.
And he has been all year. He'll be the sixth man of the year. Him and Montrez combined, they're the two scorers for this team, and they're coming off the bench. The Clippers have one of the best benches in the entire league. It's been like that since day one. Lou Williams and Doc Rivers has alluded to this. He's a guy who should be starting, right? It's just not in his DNA. He's gotten used to coming off the bench. But to have him and Harrell to go up against a Warriors team that it doesn't have a whole lot of depth, so Doc's kind of able to bring them in when he needs to and get the matchups that he wants, and it's paid off. Lou had a nice game one as well. Obviously, they lost that game, but Lou Williams making the shots at the end, he had me falling out of my seat about 3 or 4 times, by the way, guys, with under 5 minutes to go, hitting those little floaters in the lane, the little fadeaways. He was able to keep them in until the end when, frankly, the Warriors just kind of looked lost and weren't able to get anything done. Really incredible by him, and Montrez has been one of the heartbeats of this team all year.
For what happened last night there at Oracle between the LA Clippers and the Golden State Warriors, in your opinion, Joe, was it a situation of more that the Warriors as a team just kind of went on cruise mode, thought they could just easily win that game being up 31 points? Or was it something that the Clippers just found a little momentum, took advantage of a few things? What was it? Was it more of a collapse by Golden State, or was it just the LA Clippers just getting red hot at the right time?
Yeah, I'm hesitant to put it all on Golden State because of what I've seen from the Clippers this year, but I think at the end of the day, you have to put this on the Warriors. They stopped playing. We've seen this happen a lot in the past year. They're so good. You get up by 31. They're celebrating on the sidelines. Steph's going crazy. That's what the Warriors do. I get it. But they flat out thought the game was over, and the Clippers never really did. Doc Rivers, I ended up asking him after the game about his thoughts on the comeback, and he said, look, at halftime he told his team, we're going to win this game. We don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to win this game. Now, you take that with a grain of salt. He's a coach. He says what he has to say. But the guy that I look at, who the entire game was Patrick Beverley. At the end of that third quarter, beginning of the fourth, he's still yapping. He's still clapping and playing defense on Durant the way that he played the entire time. And a lot of the guys said he was the guy in that huddle who was saying, keep going, as they're getting closer and closer. So, I think for the most part, the lion's share of the blame goes to Golden State because I do think they stopped playing. But you have to tip your cap to the Clippers. A lot of teams would quit there.
We're talking to Joe Morgan, LA Clippers insider for Sporting News. Joe, also, too, you mentioned Durant, and I mentioned this to Nick earlier today. And we talked about it at nauseum yesterday, too, about how the Clippers have decided to get into KD's head.
They kind of crawled under his skin.
Yeah, they've got him a little ticked off, but I also saw that they worked on Iguodala last night, too, where, once you get 5 fouls on you, you kind of back off a little bit. But in the case of KD, hasta la vista. He had 6 fouls.
I don't. The KD thing is really weird to me. He took 8 shots last night. Kevin Durant took 8 shots. Makes no sense. When Cousins went down, which, 4 minutes into the game, you now look at Durant and you say, okay, it's time for you to do your thing and take over. You should be taking 20 shots a game. He was completely taken out by Pat Beverly, and it started in game 1. The fact that he got ejected and let Pat Beverly do exactly what he wanted to do. Beverly, that's all he does. He's not nowhere near as talented as Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant might be the most talented guy in the NBA. Beverly went into that game and said, I'm going to get into his head in game 1, and it worked. And in game 2, completely took him out of it. And I don't quite know if it's Durant being willing to defer to his teammates, or if it's really Beverly and a few other guys, quite frankly, getting into his head. I think it's something that we need to watch, not necessarily in this series, guys. I don't think anybody thinks that the Clippers are going to win this. But moving forward, you have a Houston team coming up who's probably should have beat you last year. If they make 2 out of the 27 missed threes that they had in Game 7, Golden State doesn't win a championship last year. Houston's there. So I think it's something we have to watch moving forward, because I do think there's something about Durant right now that's a little off. I can't tell you exactly what it is, but there's something there.
Something that, or at least a name that you mentioned with DeMarcus Cousins, is it just came out kind of about a few hours ago that we've learned that DeMarcus Cousins will be out indefinitely due to the torn quad of what happened early on in that contest. And something that I'll ask for you, Joe, at least still to focus on this series. Again, still, we only got 2 games under the belt, still plenty of basketball left to play for both of these teams. But with DeMarcus Cousins being down, obviously the Warriors do have Andrew Bogut and a few other height to play around with on that bench. But I mean, what does it mean in this series for Clippers, for the Warriors, of losing DeMarcus Cousins?
Yeah, and they have Kevin Looney, who the Warriors do, who I think has played pretty well in this series. I think in this series in particular, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. I think the Hamptons 5, the 5 that they've gone with since Durant got there, it is clearly good enough to beat the Clippers. I do think that not having him in the middle will allow the Clippers to stay in the ball game a little bit more than they have. I mean, even look, yesterday was a 31-point game. They weren't in the ball game for most of it. So I do think it'll have an effect on them, because the Clippers aren't big. They're not a big team. But I just think at the end of the day, Golden State starting 5 with Durant, Curry, Clay, and Draymond are just too good. I think moving forward it's an issue. I think we tend to forget 2 things. One, Boogie is a phenomenal screen setter. I've seen it in this series. He allows Steph and Clay and Durant to get wide open looks. They're going to miss that. I also think there's an emotional aspect here. Cousins' his return this year after the Achilles was actually in L.A., guys, against the Clippers, and I remember it because the Warriors were so excited and so happy to have him, and after the game they kind of talked about having that freshness. They've been to so many titles now in a row, it's kind of getting stale. Cousins hasn't been there before. This is his first postseason. I think he kind of brought in an urgency and a freshness into this team that wasn't there before, and I'm really curious to see what happens now that that's not there. Do they fall back into the kind of the we're bored thing, which will catch up to you at some point, or do they use this as a kind of a galvanizing opportunity? It's going to be interesting to see, but I do think at the end of the day, it'll have a small effect on this series with the Clippers, but I think they're too good for L.A.
Joe, with this series, and again, too, we looked at it, and again, 1 through 8 in the playoffs, on the West especially, are good. We know the Clippers probably were the lesser of the other 7. And again, we sat here being Golden State fans saying, hey, Warriors will do this thing in 4 games. But with last night's loss, do you see this thing, and maybe, and again, stranger things have happened, but if Golden State's to win, do you see this in about 6 now?
I've been going back and forth with this on the drive the entire time. A part of me wants to say, yes, it goes 6. It's going to be 5 or 6 to me. I don't know if Golden State comes out like gangbusters, on Thursday and Sunday and just decides, okay, enough is enough. Let's blow this out. But I think the Clippers are going to be able to steal another one. I don't know if that's at home or in Golden State in Game 5. Yeah, if I was a betting man, I'd say 6 games. We've disrespected this Clippers team all year. And guys, I kind of did too. I mean, I didn't have them in the playoffs before the year. I thought they were going to be a lottery team. So we continue to bet against Doc Rivers and Jerry West and everything they've put together. This team is really good. They've never stopped. They're really gritty. They have a collection of guys. They don't have a star, but Lou Williams is as close to a star as you're going to have. I do think that they have some talent in L.A. at Staples Center to win another game. Yeah, I think it'd be a 6-game series, but I do think Golden State will come out on top. But moving forward, I mean, how good does this look for free agents, guys? If you're able to come back from 31 and compete with Golden State, you got to think that free agents are saying, wow, you know what? That might be a place I want to play.
Also in Tinseltown, we want to keep it there, too.
I was going to say, keep it on that theme as well, where, Lakers are usually that, darling, at least free agent, at least landing spot, especially what has been talked about in recent years. But, yeah, I think maybe with what has happened, the Clippers might be that darling thing. And we'll kind of move to the Lakers, Joe, of, what has happened. We all knew the rumors were circulating that Luke Walton was going to leave that team, or at least kind of be removed. He is now with the Sacramento Kings, or at least been introduced to be their head coach. But, I mean, for the L.A. Lakers, just tell us, is it on fire at the Staples Center? I mean, what is going on with this Los Angeles Lakers franchise right now?
Not a lot of us know. It's very confusing. I mean, obviously, the Magic Johnson stepping down was a shock to everybody. That was one of the stranger press conferences I've ever seen in my life. I didn't know what in the world was going on. I think that they are in a really dangerous time right now. I think what they need to do is get out from what they've been doing now for the past 10 years, which is, we're the Lakers, we only hire Lakers people. Magic Johnson is obviously, the greatest Laker of all time, but I think we forget that Pelinka is also a Laker guy. He was Kobe's agent. And they continue to keep going after these guys that have been in the Lakers family, and it hasn't worked. And from everything we've heard, Rob Pelinka is going to get more power than he's had, and he's going to be the one making the decisions. I think Jeannie Buss is wrong there. I think you need to get rid of him, or at least diminish his role and go outside and get somebody who can take a different look. It doesn't seem like they're going to do that. And I just don't know who's coming to the Lakers. If you can name me somebody, I'd love to hear it. But the big guys that they thought they were going to get, I don't think are coming. KD's not going to make it. I think Clay stays. I mean, if you're able to go get Anthony Davis, good for you, but I don't think you have the package to do it. I think there's 3 or 4 other teams that have more assets. I think the danger situation for them and the disaster zone is they don't get any of the big names, and they start throwing money at guys like Jimmy Butler because they only have 3 years with LeBron left. It's a dangerous time.
And final thought for me as we get ready to let you go here, speaking of LeBron, for some reason I feel like this is Cleveland's sequel, with LeBron James basically running everything and running everybody off.
Yeah, and I think that's a fear that Jeannie Buss has had, that James and his team basically are going to be the ones that are taking it moving forward. But hey, guys, at this point, what's there to lose? You haven't done anything else for 10 years. You have LeBron for 3, and then he's gone. If I'm them, I just give him the keys. See what you can do. I don't think they're going to do anything better, and I know that's not a great option. I think they're in very, very imminent danger of wasting the 4 years that they have with LeBron James unless they do something rather drastic and get Anthony Davis in the next couple of months. We'll see. It's a weird time in L.A., especially, hey, look, the Clippers are the team here. Never thought I'd say that in my lifetime.
All righty. Hey, Joe, we want to thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the series as it heads back to the Staples, and we want to appreciate you taking time, pulling over, and chatting with us here on Wyoming Sports Talk today.
Thanks so much, guys.
Joe Morgan, the L.A. Clippers insider for the Sporting News. We're back after this timeout right here on 1480 KRAE.
At Platte Valley Bank, we understand that you have a busy life, and that means you don't always have time to come to the bank. That's why we offer user-friendly online and mobile banking with features such as bill pay, recurring transfers, and mobile deposit, so you can bank how you want when you want to. Whether you prefer to bank in person, over the phone, or online, Platte Valley Bank makes it easy to take care of your finances.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC.
You can count on Platte Valley Bank. Community banking for you.
Why do we work all hours of the night? Head towards challenges instead of turning away. And work together to solve the toughest problems so you can enjoy the little things and all the big moments life has to offer. Tri-State and High West Energy. Brighter, stronger, better together.
Is excess weight affecting your health? Have you decided to do something about it? The weight management program at Consultants in Surgery at Cheyenne Regional Medical Group can help improve the health and well-being of people who are overweight and struggling with diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, and sleep apnea. Why wait? The time is now. To see if weight loss surgery is right for you, call 307-632-1114 or visit CheyenneRegional.org/weight-loss.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast, only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day, at Windmill and Del Range.
Hop into the KRAE Time Machine each Monday through Thursday for the golden age of radio, featuring famous radio classics such as Jack Armstrong and Suspense Theater, along with pioneers in the entertainment industry like Bob Hope and Abbott and Costello, along with many other performers who've captured our ears many, many years ago. Join us for the golden age of radio Monday through Thursday, 8 until 10 p.m. on 1480 KRAE, also 101.1 FM, and you can also stream all of our programming on 1480krae.com.
There's a place where possibilities are boundless, where curiosity runs rampant, where exploration becomes opportunity. With Laramie County Community College, you can discover the best version of yourself. It's time to take on new challenges, to enrich your life, and to create the future you deserve. Your story unfolds. Laramie County Community College. Apply today. Visit lccc.wy.edu/yourstory.
When it comes to sports talk in Cheyenne, it's a whole new ballgame.
Let's play ball!
You're listening to Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Back on Wyoming Sports Talk today, we want to thank Joe Morgan again joining us. Again, the L.A. Clippers insider for Sporting News. You know, you look back on the conversation we had. Joe's you could tell. He's a little upbeat, especially after the Clips win last night.
Well, I would assume so. Again, we're talking, he got to see front and center, something very historic. What
especially
happened
at the Oracle,
the absolute comeback of, of all time by the Clippers, or either the biggest collapse by a team that was the Golden State Warriors. Again, it was kind of pick your poison on what happened last night. But, again, tied 1-1, heading back down to Los Angeles. Warriors have been here before. They've dealt with losses like this. They've dealt from adversity. They've had big names, or at least co-players, fall to injuries throughout playoffs. This is something where I anticipate in Game 3, Golden State should come back. I think this was a nice kick in the pants for them, where they realize, wow, okay, same with the Washington Capitals in Carolina, where, okay, we just got our teeth kicked in here. That hurt. That's a gut punch. We need to focus and play basketball. We need to, again, not take our foot off the pedal. We need to realize and respect them as, even though they're an 8 seed, hey, it's still a team that's playing basketball and is in the playoffs.
Here's where the Splash Brothers will, light things up. I think this is where they're going to get going.
And it's something where Joe talked about where, is it something we're losing DeMarcus with him going down again? He will be out indefinitely. He's not returning to these playoffs. There's no doubt about it. Is it something where this team becomes bored, where, yes, they've won it so many times, they are bored of winning at this point? Or is it going to be a rallying cry to say, hey, DeMarcus, we're going to do it for you because you can't enjoy this one? And I think it's more on that latter side for the Golden State Warriors, where we've seen that where, hey, Steph, you're ailing, let's do it for you, whether it's Livingston picking that slack up. And in this situation for the Golden State Warriors, I wouldn't doubt it's Bogut and the rest of that starting five.
KD's going to have to pick up the game.
Well, no doubt about it. But for the Golden State Warriors, I anticipate that this team rallies around this injury, or at least what happened to DeMarcus, and says, hey, we're going to do this for you. Sorry you can't enjoy it, but you're going to be our beacon, so to speak, of let's rally around you to win a championship for you, since you couldn't, or at least you can't help us out right now due to some freak accident. Again, it was a freak accident where he's running down the court by himself, just chasing after the ball, and just slips. and eventually torn quad, and he's now out.
Yeah, and we won't see him the rest of the playoffs, that's for sure, depending on how far the Warriors go. Warriors last night blowing a 73-50 game where Joe was talking about where they were sitting there, the beat writers from Los Angeles. Let's write our story now because it was like this one was over.
L.A. had no business competing in that game. They had no business winning that game. It was a little bit of combination of Clippers did not give up, and the Warriors just basically quit. They basically went on.
They got bored.
They
got bored. And I like how he said that. And he also left out too last year in the Houston series that Chris Paul didn't play in Game 7. If Chris Paul played in Game 7, that could have been a difference.
Oh,
it could have been.
It could have been. And again, we can reflect back to
a lot of
going
things.
back to the NBA Finals. If Draymond didn't get suspended, we probably have a 3-peat on our hands, or at least a 4-peat for the Golden State Warriors. But it's in the past, and here we are today, and we got to focus on what's going to at least upcoming for these two teams and the rest of the NBA in this playoff.
Interesting that his thoughts on LeBron James, though. And again, as I brought up the sequel out of Cleveland, where basically it's LeBron's team. He's calling all the shots. I have a feeling. And I'm going to say this right now as I'm thinking about it more and more, not so much that Magic Johnson wants to be Magic Johnson. I think Magic Johnson was overshadowed by LeBron James, and I don't think his ego can handle that.
Maybe it's a combination, but I always thought with Magic Johnson, or at least what happened was he just put too much of the weight of the world on his shoulders there. Again, he's got a statue of himself outside of Staples. He is the face of that franchise. He's so beloved by Laker fans. It's something where maybe he just overthought things, maybe tried to do everything, tried to basically put the pressure on him to get this franchise back into that winning nature that he was a part of as a player. And maybe that's what collapsed around him. But I can understand the LeBron analogy, or at least what has happened, because we saw it in Cleveland where, hey, okay, you're not working out as a head coach. You're not working out in the front office.
Tyronn Lue.
We'll bring in this guy, even though Ty Lue didn't really do a whole lot. He wasn't really a head coach as well up there in Cleveland.
He did what LeBron told him to do.
Yeah, it was pretty much what LeBron made you do. So that kind of quiet, or at least talking with Joe and getting that understanding, and it was thoughts that we've discussed yesterday and kind of leading up to where we are right now, that the Lakers are definitely not the attractive team in the offseason, where rumors were circulating Clay, KD, Anthony Davis. No, I think right now the Lakers are probably on the back burner of everyone's minds right now. Free agency, trade possibilities. The Lakers, they're a garbage dump on fire at this point, and no one wants to be a part of this team at any point in time. It's going to be very curious to see what happens. Of what moves are they going to make?
Well,
who is going to be that head coach? Who wants to even take part of that?
And it's kind of tough too on Jeannie Buss, because Jeannie Buss, again, trusted Magic Johnson. I mean, she gave the keys. She gave the keys to Magic Johnson.
I don't blame her for doing that. I think Magic Johnson, a guy who knows basketball very well, you would hope would translate. And maybe he was in a bad situation, kind of like Luke Walton, of where I was placed into this dire, straight team, and I have too high expectations, and it didn't meet it. I would absolutely still trust Magic Johnson if he goes to somewhere else, whether, hey, if he goes up to Sacramento, for instance, where I still think that Magic Johnson in that GM role, or at least in the front office role for any other NBA franchise, can be successful. Can pull off of what, Jerry West did for Golden State, what he has done for the LA Clippers. I think he could be that former player that could translate very well in the front office because he knows the game very well. He knows what he would be doing. I still believe that in Magic Johnson, but I think for him, it's smart to focus on the one sport, focus on the one team with the LA Dodgers that he's a part of, and just let that lie.
Well, the scary part is, and again, and I throw a lot of the badness, I guess, of Magic being, where he walked away from it. It seems like this Pelinka guy, Rob Pelinka. Again, he's the general manager.
Yeah.
And LeBron, it almost seems like they're backdooring everything right now. And it's almost like they forced Magic out. Magic left on his own terms, but I think he saw the writing on the wall. And again, too, they're over there telling Jeannie Buss, hey, let us, again, like Joe said, give me the keys, and we're going to make you a contender. And they're not. They're not even
and
close.
to focus on LeBron and just kind of look forward to the future of, LeBron, obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer. There's no question about that.
But welcome to the West.
Well, it's not so much that. Yes, he got a rude welcoming to the West, and we all anticipated that, where it's not going to come easy like it did for you in the East with the Cleveland Cavaliers. But looking into the future, though, for him and just what his career is all about, is it something where what we're seeing right now off the court this offseason, and same with Cleveland, where is it something that this whole situation is going to overshadow of what LeBron did on the court, where, right now, LeBron off the court, or at least dealing with front office and dealing with head coaches and just as a player, it feels like he's a puppet master, as you mentioned. Again, a lot of backdoor moves, a lot of shady business, at least kind of created by LeBron James. But is that something that's going to be a part of his legacy, is that he is that kind of puppet master where he, quote-unquote, kind of can't work well with others, so to speak. It's his way or it's the highway, so to speak. And is that something that's going to be the lasting kind of impression for LeBron James as his career, or is it going to be a footnote that, folks kind of focus on of, sure, you're a great basketball player, but you meddled with too much stuff. And that's where and right now at this point in time for LeBron James, that's where a lot of disrespect comes for me about him of, you are that manipulator. You are that guy that can't work well with others. And it got spotlighted big time, especially here in the bright lights of Los Angeles. Right. It got big time spotlighted.
All right, we need to take a timeout. And when we come back, we'll talk a little baseball after these words here in 1480 KRAE. 10 years ago, the Department of Defense selected High West Energy to provide electricity on F.E. Warren Air Force Base. For a decade, we have been proud to work hand in hand with the Air Force leadership to ensure we provide the base with the affordable, reliable power it needs to be an economic driver for the region and serve a vital national security interest for this country. High West Energy, the best choice, the local choice, the right choice for you.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Last play of the game, boys. Now they're expecting us to either run it or pass it. So instead, we're gonna do both. Like the new quesadilla taco at Taco John's. It's both a taco and a cheesy quesadilla. Taco and quesadilla. It's the perfect call.
Try Taco John's cheesy new quesadilla tacos stuffed with sirloin steak, chipotle chicken, pork carnitas, or classic beef.
Let's go quesadilla taco our way to victory.
Olay the Day at Taco John's.
Right now, it's time to head over to Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service for low prices on outstanding RVs in Wyoming. Your local, exclusive Jayco dealer wants you to check out their closeout deals, as well as their 2019 inventory of trailers, fifth wheels, and toy haulers. You can save up to 30% on select models with approved credit. You can find them at 6102 East Highway 30. Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service is a proud sponsor of LCCC men's and women's basketball, also our local high school teams too.
You can actually get something good for your health at a drive-thru window. When you order your next prescription from Medicap Pharmacy, call ahead and use our drive-thru window. Or you can call for free delivery. You can even log on to Medicap.com and order a prescription refill. Your Medicap pharmacist will call you to make arrangements for pickup or delivery.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Join in for a festive evening of fun, food, and a live auction in Cheyenne on Monday, May 6th at the historic Little Bear Inn, which is sponsoring the Love Never Forgets Gala to benefit the Wyoming chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. The event is being held to support the services provided on behalf of the nearly 30,000 Wyomingites affected by this relentless form of dementia. For more information, call the Alzheimer's chapter at 316-2892. That's 316-2892. Or visit First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue for your tickets. Remember, at First Tier Bank, you'll find the best rate on a 27-month CD with a 3.10% annual percentage yield.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be mostly cloudy with highs around 61. And for tonight, it'll be cloudy with a slight chance of thunderstorms with lows around 35. On Wednesday, it'll be mostly cloudy with highs around 51. And on Wednesday night, it'll be mostly cloudy once again with lows around 32.
You're listening to Cheyenne's new Sports Talk Authority. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today on AM 1480 KRAE.
We're back on Wyoming Sports Talk Today. You know, going back here just before we went to the break, and Nick kind of mentioned to me, you got nothing to say, and everything that you had said in that last portion of the diatribe about LeBron.
It wasn't a diatribe.
Well, no, but it was exactly what I would say. And I think right now, as Joe mentioned to us, they got 3 years left on the contract. Let it run its course, because I don't see, and again, you can attract anybody you want to Los Angeles.
Well, you got two teams to attract to, and right now the Clippers are the team where
they seem to be the darlings right now. And again, Jerry West is the general manager. Guess who put the Golden State Warriors together? Jerry West along with Mark Jackson.
Well,
they were the framers.
Yes,
they were the framers of that franchise.
They helped frame it out. There was another entity before Jerry West got in there, but he was the one that kind of got him into the playoffs and kind of got to where the Golden State Warriors are at this point, where, again, with Bob Myers, have just elevated them into the championship quality team that they are. But for the Lakers, this is a situation right now for that franchise where it might be the beginning of a long and dark kind of road.
Dry spell.
Yeah, where they've already been in that dry spell, and it's going to continue on, especially where now in the bright lights, you're being cast in a shadow, and that shadow right now is the LA Clippers, and you have to sit back while they are at least enjoying what is. And again, this Clippers team is kind of that band of misfits. You look at Gallinari, a former Nugget, Patrick Beverly, who had to work his way from, I do believe, the Europe ranks to get out to where he is. Again, Wilson Chandler, former Nugget, that's part of this team on the bench. A lot of entities here, Green as well. A lot of names, there's no superstars.
Right, but this is the second coming of the Clippers. Again, this is after Donald Sterling Clippers. Because Donald Sterling had built a good team that was playoff bound.
Well, I don't think he had a whole lot to do with it.
But I'm just saying they had built a good team that was playoff bound.
How about instead of past, or at least post Donald Sterling, how about a post Blake Griffin, post Chris Paul?
Exactly.
Where that's where the Clippers were, and now they had to rebuild for a bit, and now they're getting back into the swing of things where, hey, Chris Paul, hey, you do you at Houston, Blake Griffin in Detroit, have fun out there. But
the thing is, though, you got the right people in place, though, with Jerry West. You got Doc Rivers on the bench. Yeah. And again, too, this is the second coming of the Clippers right now, and they know their neighbors in Los Angeles, the Lakers, are going through the same problems that the Clippers did.
Right now, I think the Lakers are dealing with a lot more.
I don't even know if they're
Clippers have more relevant playoff appearances than the Lakers do at this point. Clippers, I think, are well off right now for LA. They, at least for the Clippers, they don't have to worry about the Lakers. The Lakers are far behind in their at least rearview mirror. What they're focusing on and what they did this entire season is looking up to the Golden State Warriors. That's the only team they got to catch up to. Is that team who is again still at a top in the Pacific and if not in the Western Conference, but. That's just looking at that series. Coming up at least tonight, as we haven't really discussed a whole lot, but we alluded to it yesterday, recapped what happened over the weekend, but big game coming up, game number 2 for the Denver Nuggets coming up down at the Pepsi Center, as they will host the San Antonio Spurs, something where
must win.
It is for Denver. You can't afford to lose into San Antonio, which I think they could absolutely lose to. Here coming up tonight, I think San Antonio, and again, at least Greg Popovich, kudos to him. He knows what he's doing. I think absolutely they have enough talent to take care of Denver at home.
Get the ball into the hands of Millsap and Jokic, you win.
But it's going to be tough.
I'm just saying that's
Jokic is going to have that spotlight once again. I would not doubt, unless Mike Malone can figure out ways to find him open. But I think you got to toss out that playbook because he's going to draw a crowd, which is rightfully so. But you need to figure out where it was something that he talked post game of at least that game 1 loss where shots need to fall. You need a Millsap to at least make those shots. You need all hands on deck. You need that entity to pick up the slack where you can't get it from Jokic, who is your triple-double machine and has kind of been the leader for the Denver Nuggets. Well, he's not there. You can't use him as a crutch anymore. Someone else needs to step up. If someone is not able to do that for the Denver Nuggets, which I would assume that Paul Millsap should step it up, maybe a Jamal Murray figures out things. Someone on that team figures out something tonight. Something tells me that they will and they should, but if they don't, it's going to be 2-0 in favor of San Antonio heading back to the AT&T Center in San Antonio where...
And the series over.
Yeah. It's pretty much you're not coming back because you have not won in San Antonio. Nothing tells me that you're going to win in San Antonio if you couldn't even win where you had the best record at home in the Pepsi Center and you lost 2 to the San Antonio Spurs. This, as you mentioned it again, repeating ourselves, yeah, for the Denver Nuggets tonight, it is a must-win. You have to win this one. You can't afford to be 2-0 against this team heading back.
If you lose, put a fork in you, you're done.
And I think it is a legitimate thing. I think it's a legitimate possibility that the Nuggets are facing tonight where nothing's going to come easy for this team. San Antonio is going to give them all that they can handle, even though it was a 5-point loss for Denver. But San Antonio is that good to close out these teams and can do it again.
And again, we said this, and again, we repeat ourselves. 1 through 7, anybody can win.
Yeah.
8, we did not give a puncher's chance to the Clippers.
I still won't to the Clippers. I think last night was just that was an anomaly.
I think what you have now is just that little bit of
excitement,
excitement, and you might win another game.
Hopefully that sparked a fire under the Warriors where, hey, you can't go cruising anymore. You need to give it your at least full effort all 4 quarters. So I'm not worried about the Warriors. For the Denver Nuggets, though, there is, and I would hope that some fans do have some worry about this, that they need to spark up. They need to get that same fire underneath them and play their best basketball. They need those shots to fall. They need to find other pieces instead of relying on the crutch that is Jokic right now. And you need that team to be all hands on deck and figure out a way to take care of business at home. It's just plain and simple.
All right, I want to do this real quick. We haven't done this in a long, long time, and I just happened to punch it up here. The latest stats. I mean, we're a 10th of the way through Major League Baseball.
Just you all 17.
And you look at some of the numbers. Now, the Dodgers got some good news on Bellinger. It's not as serious. He's got a lot of soreness in his knee.
Yeah.
But it's a day-to-day deal. But right now, Bellinger is leading the National League. Can you believe he's hit 433 right now? Again, that's a sample size of only 17 games, and
it'll even itself out. But
but again,
he's been a spark plug for the Dodgers as much as the Dodgers are still trailing the San Diego Padres. But he is. It's too early to say he's going to be NL MVP or going to have a triple crown
or anybody going to get it.
Especially when you are still going to have to face, especially in the National League, with Christian Yelich. You can't disrespect what he's doing.
Or anybody going to go after the immortal 400 batting average. Tim Anderson with the White Sox hitting 453. DJ LeMahieu for the Yankees is hitting 396. He's the 5th best right now.
Talk about how he paid off. Hey, bye-bye Colorado.
Yeah. So, and then you look at the home run leaders, and I like this. And again, Bellinger has 9, Yelich at number 8 last night. Then you got Chris Davis over the American League. And again, the A's have played 19 games. Remember, the 3 games that were in Japan.
Yeah.
And then you got, the rest here on the mainland. Davis in April's got 10 home runs.
He's been phenomenal for the Oakland A's. He's proven right now that they need a lot more help outside of Chris Davis to get wins right now, especially in how competitive the AL West is, with Houston charging along, Seattle at top. The A's need a lot of help, and it's more so on the pitching side, but right now it is impressive. Will Chris Davis continue that? Nothing is telling me that he's not going to.
But also, too, we're in the month of April.
And again, 10 home runs, very impressive. Is it something where he's going to approach 60, 70? I think eventually it might cool down. Whether it's May.
Remember that question here from Seton Hall, where about home runs.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think there's a power shortage right now in Major League Baseball.
No.
Again, 10 home runs through 16 days of April. And Bellinger's got
it's
9.
impressive, absolutely. But you go to years ago with Giancarlo Stanton hitting 60. Yeah, I think right now we're not in a slump of home runs, or is it the year of the pitcher as it was kind of early 2010s with the Giants taking advantage of that, having that stellar staff and keeping games down to 1-0, 2-1, very close, tight-knit, low-scoring games? No, I think baseball right now, where MLB is trying to make it more offensive, I think it's already getting there.
I think it becomes more offensive, especially for the power hitters, when you warm up in June and July.
Yeah.
That's when the ball flies. June, July, August. So right now, with a guy like Davis, who is a natural power hitter, if he wraps up the month with 15 homers, just for argument's sake, and then he goes into May, and again, you're playing in Oakland. People forget in the Oko, and I have been to many games there. You get the marine layer.
It's not the Oko anymore.
Well, yeah, but you get the marine layer that comes in, and it's hard to hit a home run at night. They play most of their games in the evening.
They try to do a lot of day games.
But I'm just saying, though, for the bulk of their 81 home dates, half of them are at night. And it doesn't matter whether it's summer or it's fall or springtime. It's still hard to hit a home run at night there. So I give Davis a lot of kudos right now that this is a kid that possibly could go yard 50 times this year.
Well, and the impressive thing is he's not just doing it at Oakland. He's doing it wherever they've been at, on the road or at home. So it's something where he'll eventually slow down. I don't anticipate that he's going to go have astronomical numbers or at least a breaking home run record, breaking Bonds' record.
No.
There's no way that's going to be at least happening, but he might be an interesting piece. Maybe a 30, 40.
He's a conversation piece that
he's going to slow down. There's no doubt about it. This is a great month for him, but May, June, July, who knows, one of those months, if not multiple, he's going to slow down. There's no doubt about it.
And again, with Bellinger, he's done a little different. I guess he's tweaked his hitting, his swing, and that's why he's become more of a big power hitter. Looking at the right now, as we mentioned with Bellinger, average home runs, he's leading RBIs with 23. Domingo Santana for the M's is right now the RBI leader in the AL. He has 24. Davis has 20. So obviously, Davis hitting a lot of solo shots for the Athletics.
Right now, this early on, where here we are, April 16th. The AL West is looking to be probably the most entertaining division in all of baseball. I think without a doubt, that one's going to be.
It's going to be a bloodbath.
It's going to be a 3-team race. As much as I didn't believe Oakland was going to be competitive in it, I think Oakland's going to make it interesting. But it might come down to Seattle. It might come down to Houston. I think absolutely. But Oakland might make it interesting. Who knows what the LA Angels will do as well?
And Texas is a spoiler.
Yeah,
they're a spoiler team.
Yeah, Texas has nothing to play for this season.
Wins right now is Marco Gonzalez. He has 4 in the early get-go. John Gant for the Cardinals leads with 3. Sean Doolittle in relief has 3. Herman Marquez picking up his second win. NL earned run average right now is Joe Musgrove of Pitt. He has a 0.0 ERA, which will change.
Yeah.
And Tyler Glasnow, Tampa Bay. And you got to admit, that young pitching staff of Tampa Bay, they
Tampa Bay, is this something that what they're doing in the AL East is going to continue on? It's hard to believe, but they are being very impressive right now. I gave them stuff early on where the Colorado Rockies were losing to them in Tropicana, saying, hey, there's no business that the Rockies should be losing to the Rays. Now, after seeing, again, this 10th of the way throughout this season, the Rays, do we dare say that the Rays are a legitimate contender for the AL East over the Yankees and the Boston Red Sox?
Yep.
It's hard to believe.
Yep.
It's really hard to believe.
But they are. Glasnow with an ERA of .53. Also, Blake Snell, who is with Tampa Bay, has a 2.16, so they're in the top 5. Save leaders right now, Shane Green of Detroit, he has 8, and Kirby Yates of San Diego leading the way with 9 right now. Will Smith for the Giants has 4. He's in the top 5. This is another. Again, I love stats, so I'm into this, and I'm really disappointed too because think of all of the years that the Giants sold out. You know, I mean, it was almost the hardest ticket in Major League Baseball.
Well, because they were winning.
Well, right now the Giants are ranked 13th after 10 home dates, as they've drawn 321,000. So they're averaging 3,200 and change every game right now in 41,900 seat Oracle Park. I got to remember it's Oracle. The Rockies, for their 5 home dates thus far, they have drawn 188,000, and that is roughly 37,767 for their 5 home dates. That would be with the Dodgers and with the Braves. And they got rained out or snowed out with one of those.
Yeah, I was going to say Dodgers kind of contribute to that series where, again, Dodger fans do they crawl out of any rock around the nation.
And how about the Dodgers? 11 home dates already at Chavez Ravine. They have been home a lot. And they have drawn already over 500,000, 520,101, averaging at Dodger Stadium 47,281.
They're not selling out that place.
What's
which
that?
is pathetic. They're not selling out Dodger Stadium, though.
They're doing fine.
You should have saw at least the Giants series where fans weren't showing up, and there should have been no reason.
You should know at Dodger Stadium, it's like Coors Field.
I get it's a late arriving crowd. I understand that in the LA
inning.
But even past the 3rd inning, though, that place was still not packed. So right now, the Dodger fans, I have the utmost. I have no respect for that fan base.
But here's the respect that I have for fan base is in St. Louis.
Well, yeah,
win or lose, they show up at
yeah.
Busch, and then 7 home dates thus far, they've drawn over 40,300.
Yeah.
So they come out to watch their team play. Interesting to note. The Athletics.
I was going to say, how about one team that should be interesting is more so out of the teams in Florida is Tampa Bay.
Well, at Tampa Bay, 15,000.
Yeah.
That's all they've drawn, and they're winning. They're in first place.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Marlins.
Marlins is their joke.
You got to ask yourself this question. Will Miami eventually move that franchise out? Even when they were winning world championships, nobody showed up. 10,000 fans. But again,
for Miami, it might be a legitimate thought. Even though they've invested again, a brand new ballpark.
Baseball's making a pile of money,
they are revamping this team where it's no longer the Florida Marlins, it's the Miami Marlins. Hey, let's update our logo, our color scheme. Let's change up Marlins Park at this point. Are they moving that franchise out anytime soon? Absolutely not. But is it something, if it continues on where this team is terrible, fans do not show up? Yeah, I think it would be smart for that ownership to look, especially one Derek Jeter, to go, okay, it's not working. Bye-bye, Miami. You didn't respect us. You don't deserve baseball. We're out.
It's interesting here. You look at 26 through 30. Cleveland, Cincinnati, Tampa Bay, Kansas City, Miami. Again, medium market type teams. I mean, they're all under like 18,000. The Athletics in Oakland, they've had 10 dates already. They're drawing 23,000. That's pretty good for Oakland because
Oakland should be down there.
I mean, you only got 37,000 seats you can draw for an 8
But Oakland's
anyway.
like the biggest fickle fan base where they could care less. But also, too, that ties in with that ballpark where no one wants to see a baseball game at the Coliseum. It's so just terrible.
Yeah.
And I think the A's realize that. And we'll see what happens in years to come, whether, I think, 2021 or 2022, when they're supposed to have that new ballpark in downtown Oakland for the A's. Will those numbers change? Will fans finally show up and show their support where, hey, we got brand new digs? And I think they will for the first couple seasons, but we'll see if it continues on.
They did the same thing with the Giants when they moved them out of the stick and moved them downtown.
I'm just saying, hopefully for the A's, though, they see that revitalization of appreciation by that fan base saying, thank you, we're out of this Coliseum. We got new digs. Here, we're here to show up, win or lose.
All right, we got to wrap things up. I'm looking at the clock right now. It's like, holy cow.